When something good happens to you, you get the promotion, you ace the exam, or your heart gets broken, who's the first person you call? If your honest answer is, no one, I just kind of sit with it myself. I need you to keep watching, because that's not a personality trait. That's a memory. Your body is doing something right now that it learned to do a long, long time ago. And by the end of this video, you're going to know exactly why. If you've ever been called too independent, if people say you're hard to read, if you've canceled plans just to be alone and felt relieved, not guilty, you're not broken. You're not antisocial. You're not just an introvert. Today we're breaking down the real psychological blueprint behind why solitude feels safer than connection for so many people. Here's the psychological rule almost nobody tells you. Children don't naturally prefer being alone. They learn to. Psychologists who study attachment found something wild back in the 1970s. Babies who cried when scared, but were consistently soothed, grew up expecting comfort to work. They reached for people naturally. But a different group of kids learned something else entirely. Every time they got upset and reached for a parent, nothing happened. Or worse, they got brushed off. You're fine. Stop being dramatic. Or the parent was distracted, overwhelmed, checked out. So the child adapted. Not consciously, not dramatically, quietly. They thought, reaching out doesn't work. So I'll stop reaching. This is called avoidant attachment. Imagine plugging your phone charger into a wall outlet that only works sometimes. Eventually, you stop trying that outlet. You find your own power source. You learn to survive on low battery. That's not independence. That's rationed hope. And the wildest part? Studies on these kids show their heart rate spikes with stress just as much as anxiously attached kids. They just stopped showing it. On the outside, calm. On the inside, alarm bells. Let's go deeper. Now let's get specific, because this shows up in 3 different childhoods. See which one is yours. The first, the neglectful home. Needs were ignored so consistently, the child concluded needs are pointless. The second, and this one surprises people, the high achievement home. Parents weren't cruel. They were proud. But love was tied to performance, grades, trophies, being the easy kid. Emotional needs got quietly filed under inconvenient. So the child learned, don't be a burden, be an asset. The third, the chaotic or enmeshed home. Maybe a parent was unpredictable, moody, anxious, or leaned on the child emotionally instead of the other way around. The child became the calm one, the responsible one. Somebody had to be. And solitude became the only place that felt actually safe. No one's emotions to manage but their own. Did you notice something? None of these require a bad parent. That's exactly why this pattern is so hidden. You can come from a loving home and still learn that your needs are safest kept to yourself. Here's the part that reframes everything. As an adult, you don't consciously choose solitude. Your nervous system does. And it does it fast, before your logical brain even weighs in. Psychologists call this a deactivating strategy. When closeness starts to feel possible, maybe a new friendship or a relationship getting serious, something in you quietly pulls the plug. You get too busy. You find their texts annoying. You start noticing their flaws in high definition. It doesn't feel like fear. It feels like preference. That's the trick. Avoidance never announces itself as fear. It disguises itself as taste. I just like my space. I just work better alone. Sometimes that's completely true. But if it comes with a flinch the moment someone gets close, that's not preference. That's protection. Think of it like a smoke alarm that got triggered by burnt toast too many times. Eventually, it goes off at the smell of bread. Your alarm isn't wrong that closeness once meant danger. It's just outdated. It's still defending a house that isn't on fire anymore. And here's the part most people miss: the relief you feel when you cancel plans. That's not happiness. That's your nervous system exhaling after a threat passes. You've mistaken the absence of anxiety for the presence of contentment. Those are not the same thing. Quick pause here, because I don't want you leaving this video thinking you're stuck. Attachment patterns aren't life sentences. They're learned software, and learned software can be updated. The first step isn't forcing yourself to be more social. It's smaller than that. It's just noticing the moment the pull away urge shows up and getting curious instead of obedient. Asking, is this actual peace, or is this the old alarm going off again? That single pause, that tiny gap between urge and action, is where the rewiring starts. So if you watched this and felt a little too seen, that's not a coincidence. That's recognition. And recognition is the first exit off the pattern.